Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. It is Penny and Kim, and here we are once again, lighting up your Friday with the 5 stars of strengthening families. We are talking about relationships, and we had a question for you, or a challenge for you, which was last week to cut yourself some slack, to make some space, I guess, for making some mistakes and being kind to yourself. And so, Penny, as far as I'll just remind you of the topic last week was, how do you make amends when you mess up in a relationship, whether that's with yourself or with others, or what was the action step that you were able to take with that? And it could just be even just becoming aware as well. So
yeah, so around the part where we asked about checking in about how you do your own repairs, and is there a small step you could take to either become better at apologizing to yourself or to others. Yeah, for me, remembering the not the sorry but, right? So like you had mentioned last week, not taking it back by saying, I did it because of something you did. So that's a constant reminder for me, is to kind of like this, or boom, mic drop, like because that's really hard not to sort of justify it out loud. And that's part of the forgiving yourself part, is you can say to yourself, yeah, you know what, it's been such a hard week, and yeah, that's driving me crazy that they're constantly fighting, and I find that really hard. And you can say those things to yourself, and you don't have to say it to that person during the apology. That might be a later conversation, but just remembering, I'm sorry for this, and this is why I'm sorry. This is why I know it's not appropriate behavior. This is what I'll try to do differently. And can you forgive me or accept my apology?
love that.
That was my challenge this week. How about you?
Well, I do think for me, I'm quick to do the apology, and but oftentimes I get sneaky when it comes to myself. So I'll find myself thinking, I can catch myself pretty good if I say it out. I'll be like, oh no, wait a minute, that was not nice to myself. But I think it, and those are the sneaky ones. So I was really focusing on being kind to myself, and catching it when I was thinking it, because the next thing is it's going to come out. So I've moved up a step. I'm able to catch it when it comes out, but now I want to catch it even earlier. Yeah, so that was what I was working on last week.
Creating those new pathways of thinking, right?
Yes.
Repetition, yes. Repetition.
Right, because we actually think them. It's not that we're going to stop. We have to change the pathway, like you say. So that's what you do. We're not going to beat up on ourselves for thinking it. We're going to think it and then catch it and then make a new pathway. That's the way through this, not by just cutting out all of those thoughts, right? Because we're never going to get there. We're never going to get there. We've got to create the new pathways. So that's brilliant.
Yeah, one of my favorites is cancel. I'll say to myself, because I'll think something, yeah, and then I'll be like, cancel.
Yeah. And if you have a friend that you can do it with, when I hear it, right, we can do it for each other too. So.
All right. So moving on from previous topics of what do you think makes you a good friend, and how do you make amends in relationships, kind of brings us beautifully into the next question, which is, what kind of relationships make you stronger? And again, any type of relationship that you have in the world this can apply to. So I am going to ask Kim to give us your thoughts on this.
Well, I just said it. So I think when you and I can do that for each other, that makes our relationship, that's a relationship that can make me stronger. When you can be that person that says, cancel, cancel. Oh, cancel, cancel. I won't let you talk to my friend that way. You know, those kind of things can help make a relationship stronger. The other thing that I was thinking of is the give and take in a relationship. I think this is really important, that the relationship is not all one person giving or all one person taking. And I think that boundaries have to come in here a little bit too. Sometimes if that is what's happening, we sometimes have to be the one that says, I'm not going to do that anymore. You know, I'm not going to be the giver all the time, or I'm not going to be the taker all the time. And realizing that I've taken up the space here. I need to step back and allow somebody else some space. So just, I think that realization of it has to be a give and take, because if it's out of balance all the time, that's not a healthy relationship. What are your thoughts on that? What kind, let's see, the question is, what kinds of relationships make you stronger?
So I agree that having the awareness of a sense of balance in not like we're keeping score, but that it isn't always skewed, like you said, one way or the other. So understanding that there will be times when either one of us is up or down, as long as it isn't constantly out of balance. Either way, either at my not being a good friend or the other person not being a good friend. What makes me personally stronger in a relationship is what we talked about. I think back, being a good friend is that space to be who I am, and that understanding and acceptance. At the same time, the firmness to hold me accountable. So someone who can accept those things about me and yet not accept poor behavior from me as a result of things, because I think that's important in a friend, that a relationship where the person can say, you know what, I know you've had a really crummy week and I get that, and you know, I see you, I hear you, and you know, when you scream at me because I leave my towel on the floor, that's not cool, right? Because sometimes that's what we need to be our best selves, is somebody to accept, forgive, love, and hold us accountable, because the feelings are all okay. The behaviors are not all okay. And I sometimes have a tendency to not give my best self to the people that are closest to me because of that feeling of, well, I can be my crummy self. Having someone to remind me of the boundary between feelings and behavior. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think last week we talked about repair in the relationship. So I think that that's part of it too, being able to take and give. I don't know if it's called constructive criticism or holding somebody accountable. And then the repair work has to come into that too. So I'm sorry, you're right. I was out of line there. You're right. I'm sorry. And, you know, and so all of these just sort of go together, you know, they're all part of it. The relationships that make me stronger are the ones where I feel free to do that, where I feel like the relationship can take the weight of a mistake, of me being me, you know, and all that brings, you know. That's the relationship that makes me stronger. Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. It's great to become aware of these things, because that's what we try to bring with this, is not that we're the experts by any means in your lives, because you are the expert of your own life. It's maybe just the idea and encouragement to look at what's going on in your life and to think about it. And again, not to judge yourself, just to check in and think about, well, what does that even mean, a strong relationship? What does that mean to me? What does that mean to you? Do I have those? Do I want those? What small steps can I take if I feel like I need this? And all of this inner work that we're building strength from the inside out. That's what we're trying to do. Inside of you, inside your families, all of these different thoughts and ideas, because you can't change what you aren't aware of. So I guess that's kind of what we're looking at. So on that note, here's our invitation challenge this week. So we're going to ask you to do that, to notice what in your relationships. So when you look at your relationships that you feel you are your best self most of the time, because, right, we're human. So when you feel strong and good, what about that relationship does that for you? And also noticing in the relationships where you don't feel that way, what could be different? What's going on around you, and how can you contribute to creating that strength? And how can you contribute to building a strong relationship with yourself? Yeah, so again, the noticing, and then a small step, whatever that might be for you.
Okay. Challenge accepted.
All right. And it wouldn't be a class without www.fcss.ca, our website. 24/7 available with all the information about what's going on in your communities, contact information if you need additional support. Yeah. And next week, we'll be back talking about technology role in relationships. So nowadays, this is probably more prevalent than ever. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Have a great weekend. See you soon.